whatever you do, you want it to be easy to say and easy to spell so that when you talk to people about it, they remember it. They know they can visually think about, oh, okay, that's how you spell it. And then when they go to look you up, they can easily, intuitively type it in. That's important. Easy to say and easy to intuitively spell.
Welcome back, passionate investors. I'm your host, George Roberts, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Joe Fairless, founder of Best Ever CRE and one of the best known multifamily investors this fine nation has ever produced. Friends, Romans, countrymen. Today, we will talk about leadership, learning from mistakes, personal branding, and mindfulness, just to name a few items. Our guest is an investor who has aligned his lifestyle around freedom, purpose, and impact, all of which are values that our audience will find familiar from our prior guests, as well as from my book, Passionate Living Through Passive Investing. And now, without further ado, welcome to the show, Joe Fairless.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
All right, excellent. Well, that was my introduction for you. I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. So, start by asking the question, who is Joe Fairless?
Who is Joe Fairless? Who am I? I am someone who believes in doing what I say I'm going to do. I believe that discipline leads to freedom. I have a wife and a daughter, and they are very important to me. And I believe that the secret to living is giving. Another quote that's a close cousin to that is a service to many leads to greatness. And another quote that is a close cousin to that is help enough people get what they want and you'll get what you want. And Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins can be attributed to those quotes. So yeah, I'm a huge personal development student. I have been studying personal development for a long time and I'm practicing it. And also, my morning routine, I've had a liter of water with a scoop of wheatgrass every morning for at least 10 years, 10 plus years, probably more than that, 10, 15 years. So yeah, there you go. That's a little bit about me. And that's who I am.
Right, sounds good. I'll catch up on drinking my water right there. So yeah, definitely we'll talk about giving back and your 86 causes that you mention on your Best Ever CRE website. So one of the things that I want to do is this next question is for all of my listeners who are wondering what is possible to use passive income to design the life of their dreams. So I want to know about the personal freedoms that wealth has unlocked for you. So can you tell us how's the way you spend your time? How is that different now than maybe when you got started out?
Well, I'd say that yeah, I have a inspiration wall in my office. And one of the things on the wall is 3 pages stapled together, and it's an agenda from a business meeting when I was a full-time employee at an advertising agency in New York City. And I felt like a fish out of water at that agency. And I felt like a fish out of water on that account. And yeah, so the piece of paper, it's like old and yellow and stained because it's from 2012. So at this point it's 13 years old. And I keep it as a reminder of what detested, what I did not like doing, and that is having to go to meetings and having to talk about things I didn't care about and investing my time in things that I wasn't passionate about. And so I left the advertising industry. I was the youngest VP of an advertising agency on Wall Street in New York City, and I left the industry because I just didn't wasn't passionate about it anymore. I also have a printout of an email that I sent to my family prior to leaving, and it said I came, I conquered, and I don't care about it at all anymore. I have to leave. And from an outsider's perspective, it was a really risky thing to do because my major was advertising at Texas Tech, and I went to straight to New York City right out of college to compete with the best of the best in advertising, and I started out making $30,000 in New York City, and then climbed the corporate ladder and was ended up making 150,000 as a base salary. And then I think there's a little bit of a bonus on top of that. But just didn't care about it anymore. So from an outsider's perspective, I had what, financially speaking, at least what, a lot of people were seeking. And I was, relatively young uh, at that point too. But I couldn't do it anymore. So I made a drastic change. So how has my approach changed from when I started? Well, as a entrepreneur who left industry, I was also single at the time. I didn't have a wife or a child, so there's that. A completely
Yeah.
different set of commitments. So it was just a completely different world as an entrepreneur who was working a lot of hours, and I still do, but it's a different type of work because now I have a team in place. And so the time difference or the activities, the main difference is that it's more strategic and it's focused more on highest and best use, which, oh, by the way, is stuff that I enjoy the most, not a coincidence. Versus at the beginning, it's just, blitzing everything, testing things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's talk about that team a little bit. I know that one of the things you like to do is set things up so that you can step away, so you have that time for the family, so you get that time to do the things that you're really passionate about. Can you talk to us a little bit about running a team and growing a business, scaling? How do you do that without letting it consume you?
Well, it's challenging, the last part you said, without letting it consume you, because I'd say it is part of me. It certainly is part of me, and it's hard for me to step away mentally. But what I do is if I'm with my family in the evenings or at dinner or on the weekends, there's no phone. Like it's not even in my pocket. Okay. And when I have a dad-daughter night once a month, and I don't bring my phone. And whenever I'm engaged with family or friends, actually, if I'm in the and for everyone who's attended the Best Ever conference, you'll see this, and they'll vouch for what I'm saying. If I'm in the presence of a conversation, there's no phone. There's no phone out. It might be in my pocket at the conference, and it is, but I don't bust it out. Like I'm focused on the conversation, and it actually makes me a little sad seeing how connected people are to their devices and not to people, because it's just not a fulfilling way to approach life. And companies with the phones, they know how to work it and they know how to get the dopamine hits
Right.
for us. So the team that I have in place I have two businesses. One, I'm the co-founder of Ashcroft Capital, and also, as you introduced me, founder of Best Ever CRE. And the team I have at Best Ever CRE is completely different than the team I work with Ashcroft Capital. But one consistency is that there are people that long-term relationships with long-term people. I approach that with business and I approach that with personal friendships and relationships. And that's something that's important to me.
Beautiful. Well, I also want to talk about thought leadership. You built one of the most recognizable brands in real estate, as mentioned, Best Ever CRE. So you got books, blogs, newsletters, conferences, and more. So that's a pretty massive footprint. So I want to know, how has choosing to be a thought leader in your industry, how's that changed your life professionally and personally?
The benefit of being a thought leader is the same benefit as a similar benefit that you get when you volunteer, and that is doing something that benefits others. And what a beautiful thing to do. And oh, by the way, it's fulfilling and it's enjoyable. So,
Mhm.
by being a thought leader, as you are also, it's, rising tides lift all boats. And you get, so many benefits as a result of sharing the knowledge. And that's why I wanted to start my podcast a long time ago. And that's why I did daily interviews, for like 3,500 days in a row now. Now I don't do the
Yeah,
interviews primarily now, other people do, but the show still goes on. But the first 2,000 days,
yeah.
it was me. And I was editing the interviews for, 3 months. first like 500 days or something. I don't know. Well, maybe not 500, first
I
couple
did my
hundred
first
days.
25 and I thought that was hell. So hats off to you.
It's challenging. It's challenging. My Thursdays back in the day, my Thursdays were 3 interviews, 30-minute break, 3 interviews, 30-minute break, 3 interviews. And by the end of the ninth interview, I was a very ornery person. I was not a good person to be around. I was just like
Yeah.
stir crazy. My brain was fried. And that ninth interview on all those days was probably atrocious, is my guess, because it was just really hard. But I got 9 interviews banked,
Yeah.
usually 8, because some technical thing would go wrong
Right.
or something would go wrong. But I'd get like 8 interviews banked, and that was good for a week. And I do that a couple days a week, and then I'm ahead of schedule, and then that's great. So it's the thought leadership component. It's so rewarding. It's absolutely rewarding to learn and then to share, and then to hear stories from other people. I love hearing stories at the conference. People come up with the best ever syndication book, and
Hmm.
it's got dog ears and highlighters and stuff
Yeah.
to like show it to me. I'm like, yeah, that's so awesome. I'd love to see that.
That is awesome. And yeah, here's my best ever CRE.
There it
Been
is.
listening online. Yep, yep, listening to it again. I don't know if it's the second or third or fourth time through it, but it
Yeah.
is a great book. Thank you for that. And consistency, that is one thing I wanted to talk to you about. So you did thousands of interviews yourself
Yes.
before you handed the show off. So tell us, what do you do when you feel that sense of consistency, when that starts to wane for you? How do you get it back? How do you keep it?
Announcing to the world that it is the world's longest running daily real
Yeah,
estate investing podcast. And because it's that, it doesn't allow me any leeway to stop.
right.
So, taking a step back and applying that to any goal, I don't just mention it to others who you care about and have some external accountability. That's one. And then two is, if it's valuable and it's a good use of your time, then great. And that what it was, interviewing people, learning from them, sharing, and then also when they share it grew my audience too. But if it wasn't my time, then it's okay to pull the plug, because life's short, and it's too short to be doing stuff that you don't care about. So
Yeah.
with the consistency part, it's important to, one, share your approach with others, because that helps with external accountability. But then two, continue to look in the mirror and make sure that it's a good use of your time. You're not just doing it because that's just what you've always done.
Right, I love it. So once you bring in the people that you love and care about and respect, then failure is not an option. So I think that's an awesome answer. Very deep there. Well, look, you have mentioned a lot of deep things I was going to talk about later, but you have talked about in the past how giving back really helps to reorient you. And if you're not feeling like a great person, I imagine after that ninth interview, for example, that going out and volunteering was huge for you. But it's your hospice experience. I'd like you to talk about that because I thought some of the things you've said about that in the past have been really deep.
I yeah, I've been on boards, Texas Tech, College of Media Communication, Junior Achievement, and maybe another board or two. I don't know, but those two come to mind. But it doesn't do anything for me. The Texas Tech College of Media Communication, that's where I went to school. I enjoyed meeting with the students, helping them with their questions. At Junior Achievement, I enjoyed going into the classrooms and teaching, but I didn't enjoy the all the adults sitting around the table looking at a PowerPoint, listening to how well or not well things are doing for the organization. Selfishly, I just didn't move me. So I was looking at places to volunteer, and I guess something that drives me, or something that lights a fire in me, is helping those who are underserved, helping those who have a really hard time to help themselves. And in my book, I'm sure there's other categories. I know there are other categories, but the two categories that come to mind for me initially are kids and elderly. Kids, for obvious reasons, have a hard time, helping themselves in various
Yeah.
things and standing up for themselves and representing themselves. And then elderly
Mhm.
do too. And so I did the junior achievement thing and taught some at some classes, but the hospice thing resonated because they're alone. Like when you get matched up with someone at hospice, it's typically because they don't have anyone else. No family members visit them. They don't have any family. They're far away from the family. They're estranged from the family, whatever it is. And that's powerful. It's really powerful to be with someone who has nobody and you're meeting with them, you're hearing their stories and also like just their perspective. A lot of time, like I remember one time, there was someone who his name was Tim, who was wheelchair bound, and I was wheeling him in the hallway, and we were passing someone else, and he talked to her, and she was talking about how she couldn't work the phone in her room, and he didn't know how to do it, or he does know how, but physically couldn't do it either, and then she says, "Okay, have a good day," and he goes, "I'm gonna have a great day."
Yeah.
And just that type of perspective, like, man, Tim is saying he's gonna have a great day. I'm pushing him on a wheelchair in a hospice facility. That gives like context for things in life that happen. So, selfishly, that's some things I get from it, just the context and understanding of perspective. And
Right.
then, being with the individuals, and is helpful for them, I like to think, and, quite frankly, I know it's helpful for them to have just some companionship.
Yeah, huge. And I want to say one of the reasons why I started this show was from your best ever CRE book. Talk about the need of launching your own platform. And this sort of
Right.
started out as my love letter to entrepreneurship and morphed into my book podcast. So I
Hmm.
think you really can't talk about thought leadership without talking about personal branding. So, Best Ever CRE, I gotta say, one of the best named brands in the world. Can you tell us a little bit about how you advise people who may be a little newer in their business? They may be hungry to go out there and create that name, do something that stands out. How would you advise people to create that personal brand?
Whatever you do, you want it to be easy to say and easy to spell, so that when you talk to people about it, they remember it. They know they can visually think about, oh, okay, that's how you spell it. And then when they go to look you up, they can easily, intuitively type it in. That's important. Easy to say and easy to intuitively spell. And then, yeah, after that, it's the more you are true to who you are, the more magnetic you become.
Mhm.
So do something that is enjoyable for you. For me, I enjoy, unless it's the ninth interview on a Thursday, I enjoy interviewing people. I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy learning from them. And I just enjoy the process of discovery of what people are doing and what they've learned from on their journeys. I believe you can learn something from everyone.
Yeah,
And there's bad people out there. You can learn what not to do, right? You learn
right.
something from everybody,
Yeah.
and you can use that as a lesson.
Yeah, huge. All right. So, email, website, carrier pigeon, or smoke signals. What is the best way for our listenership to contact Joe Fairless?
You can go to ashcroftcapital.com and you can read all investor testimonials about what they say about investing with us, and then you can reach out through the website, look at different deals that we've got.
So, listeners, I want to wrap up this first half of our interview with Joe Fairless. Make sure you join us for the second half of the interview, where we're going to talk about some really exciting topics, including evaluating a sponsor and how to incorporate continuous qualitative growth into your investing. Remember, listeners, that's pillar three from Passionate Living through Passive Investing. So if you haven't got the book yet, please take a look at that book. I'd love to hear what you think, love to hear your feedback. Then we're going to talk about some of the unique ways that Joe invests in real estate. For example, early on in his career, he did have the property managers were often equity partners. And let me see, we also talked about the importance of learning from your mistakes, and artificial intelligence. So these are some super exciting things. I hope you stay tuned and come back for that second half of this exciting interview. And in the meantime, if you're wondering how to contact Joe, we've got all that in the show notes. You can go to ashcroftcapital.com. So thank you. Signing off. Catch you on the flip side.